Hi, I'm Joe, and let's break down some of the best student bank accounts in 2024. So a student bank account is a regular current account offered to students in the UK, but what makes it special is that it offers a 0% overdraft, which means students can go beyond the cash that they have in their accounts and not pay any interest on paying it back. So I have a list of bank accounts, and we'll talk about how they structure their 0% overdraft over 3 or 5 years, and then we'll give them a rating out of 10. And then some banks offer a cheeky incentive for you to open up a student bank account with them, and if they offer an incentive but it's not that useful, then I'll give them 1 bonus point. If it's a useful freebie, then I'll give them 2 bonus points. And if they don't offer anything, then there's no bonus point. And then we have this student satisfaction survey done in 2023 by this website, and it gives each bank a rating out of 5 for how satisfied the students who banked with them were. So we'll take that into consideration as well. So a key term that people usually get confused with when it comes to looking at overdrafts is the term up to, because it doesn't automatically mean that you'll get the full amount offered in the first year or even the first few years. So if a student bank account is offering up to £3,000, it means that it could only be £3,000 in the 3rd year, and you're only getting, I don't know, maybe 1,000 in the first year. So it's important to realize that up to doesn't necessarily mean it's that for the whole term or the full degree. It's the max you could get. So the first one is Santander, and if you decide to bank with Santander, you can get up to £1,500 at the end of the first year, but it stays at £1,500 for the whole 3 years. And then if you're doing a degree that's either 4 years or 5 years, then you can get up to 1.8k in year 4 and 2k in year 5. But when you open up your student account, your overdraft will be £250, and then it will slowly start going up as you do your degree. Now, to get your overdraft, you will need to keep your account active by depositing at least £500 every 4 months, but that should happen with your student loan coming in anyway. So with that, I'd score Santander a solid 7 out of 10. Santander do have the best incentive out of all the banks, in my opinion anyway, which is the 16 to 25-year-old rail card. Now, a rail card gets you 33% off rail tickets wherever you want to go across the UK. Now, this is extremely useful if you travel the country or you are going to a uni far away from home and you need to travel all the time back and forth. So I think it's pretty useful and lasts a long time as well. So I'd give this a 2 out of 2 because it's there and it's useful. I keep thinking the camera's out of focus. Is it out of focus? That would be a bummer. And the student satisfaction score is 4.15 out of 5, which is actually pretty good. HSBC are next, and with HSBC you can get up to £3,000 overdraft, but only in the 3rd year. Sadly, it's £1,000 in year 1, £2,000 in year 2, and up to £3,000 in year 3, which is quite good if you can get it. The good thing is that £1,000 is instantly accessible as soon as you open up your account, and because of that and its large limit, HSBC get an 8 out of 10. They used to do a Headspace incentive, but Headspace subscription, but they don't do it anymore, so that's a bit of a bugger. And the survey says 3.7 out of 5. Now, Nationwide offer a similar amount to HSBC, with offering up to £3,000, and it's similar to HSBC in that it's 1,000 in year 1, 2,000 in year 2, and 3,000 in year 3. But there's a major difference between HSBC and Nationwide, is that if you get accepted into Nationwide, you're more likely to get the guaranteed 3,000 at the end, or you're more likely to be guaranteed the 3,000 at the end, which makes Nationwide a good candidate for a student account. However, this would mean it's harder to get accepted, but if you haven't declared bankruptcy and you've had a good credit score, I reckon you'll be fine. Now, to keep the account active, you will need to deposit £500 every term, so they know you're still using it. Having checked recently, Nationwide offer 2 incentives. One is straight £100 cash, and the other is £120 worth of Uber Eats credits, which is where my eyes were drawn to. But then when you look into it, it's £10 a month, or £10 voucher per month for 12 months, which is, you know, you can do with that, you know, if it's exam season and you don't want to cook, so you just want to, you know, buy some food. But it's something good. £100 is there, so I'll give it a 2 out of 2. And the student satisfaction survey says 3.95 out of 5, which is actually slap bang in the middle of all the banks. So I think overall a widely impressive offer from Nationwide because of the large guaranteed overdraft and the 2 incentives, this could actually be a very strong contender. I don't know yet because I haven't added up the scores yet, but yeah. Could it be your bank of choice? Let me know down below. And while you're there, you might as well hit that like button so more people can see what the best bank accounts to open if you're a student in 2024. So next one is NatWest, and NatWest are going all guns blazing. You can get up to 2K in your first year with NatWest for your overdraft. But that's the same limit you'll get in year 2, and then it goes up to 3,250 in year 3. But you get 2K in your first year, which is a lot higher than some of the other banks. But it is tiered, which means you don't get it all instantly. It's £500 to begin with in term 1, and then it will slowly go up to 2K. It's limited to 500 in the first term, and there's no increase in year 2, but you do get the 2K in the first year, which is really good. So I'm giving them an 8 out of 10. And then from 2024 August, so if you're applying for the next year, you'll be fine. They do offer 2 incentives. Again, £100 if you switch to them, and then also a taste card, which is where you get 50% off on a bunch of restaurants, and you get 25% off on a bunch more restaurants, which is okay if you eat out a lot, but as a student, I don't think you'd be eating out that much. So I'm giving it a 1 out of 10, 1 out of 2, not 10. And the satisfaction score for Nationwide is up there with Santander. It's 4.14 out of 5. The Royal Bank of Scotland is the exact same as NatWest, ditto. Then we got Lloyds, the best adverts out there for all the banks. Maybe Santander with Santander, but Lloyds Bank adverts, you know, they're the best. Actually, no, it's TSB banks. They're the ones with the trains and the horses. Whatever that one is, that's the best. Now, Lloyds offer up to 2K, but only from year 4 and onwards. So if you're doing a 3-year course, or you're only a student for 3 years, then you're restricted to just £1,500. But in the first year, it's restricted in the overdraft limit. It's £500 for the first 6 months, and then it goes up to £1,000 in the next 4 months, and then the final few months, you'll get the 1,500 that they offer. So it is quite restrictive in the credit limit and the way it's tiered as well in the first year. But what I will say is, if you have a bad credit score, Lloyds actually have a really good acceptance rate. So if you have a bad credit score, this is a good one to go for. Therefore, I'll give them a score of 6 out of 10. No incentives, so no bonus points. And a student satisfaction survey says 4.05. 2 more to go, so make sure you hit that like button if you're enjoying the video or you find it useful. Can you enjoy it without finding it useful? Or find it useful without enjoying it? Probably the first, not the second. Right, TSB, easy one. Up to 1,500. Similar to Lloyds. 500 for the first 6 months, then 1,000 for the next 4 months, then the 1.5K afterwards. Not similar to Lloyds, just the exact same. Just the exact same. Bad thing is that you will have to pester them. You'll have to call them up and pester them to increase your credit limit each time. So that's a bit annoying. There's no incentives, and student satisfaction survey says 3 out of 5. Towards the lower end of customer support or satisfaction. And last but not least, it's everyone's favorite convenience store dressed up as a supermarket. It's Co-op. Decent offer actually. It's 1.4K in the first year, increase of £300 in year 2, and then up to 2K in your final year, or 3rd year. Now, like the others, you have to keep it active, and the way Co-op want you to do it is they want you to deposit at least £300 in the first 28 days of opening the account, and then keep it in there for at least 48 hours. So you can't just put it in and take it back out. You have to keep it in there for a few days. And then similarly to TSB, you do have to kind of phone them up annoyingly and ask them to increase the overdraft limit every year. No freebies from Co-op, but students do like Co-op and it's a popular choice. So I'll give them a 6 out of 10. Their survey says 3.69 out of 5. So adding up all the scores and looking at the leaderboard, the best student bank account in 2024 that you should go for is Nationwide. Closely followed by NatWest and Santander, but I think Nationwide have a really strong package in terms of the customer support, overdraft, and some decent incentives on right now. So if you're looking at opening a bank account, then open it as soon as possible before that incentive goes, because they can pull it anytime. Also, a few things to note is that a lot of these student accounts will give you a 0% overdraft even after you graduate. It will likely be a lower amount, but they will give it to you for a few years after you graduate, which is quite good. And the other is that some of these accounts will give you like 2% savings if you keep a certain amount of money in there for like on a monthly basis. I hope that was useful. Like and subscribe down below if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in a bit.